This is Rewriting Eden. I'm your host, Avery Robitaille. I'm a missionary kid, an ex-evangelical Christian, and I'm here to facilitate the space that I desperately needed 10 years ago when I was going, holy shit, I don't know if I resonate with these fear-based, limiting beliefs anymore, and my world is crumbling and falling apart. So here I am, the future me, talking with Marla Taviano, the author of Deconstruction Trilogy, Unbelieve, Jaded, and Whole, that chronicle her journey from the first growing pains of doubting toxic indoctrination to piecing herself back together and the reclamation that comes amidst dealing with the angst and bitterness that coincide with deconstructing. Hi, Marla. Welcome.
Hi, Avery. That was beautiful. The intro was like a poem. I love it.
Oh my god, that coming from a poet, it means the world. Yeah, so it's crazy, everybody. One of my best friends sent me your profile, like, a year ago, and I was like, "Oh my god, hell yeah." And then I ended up surprising her with your book, I think it was Unbelieve, for her birthday, and then I was in the middle of moving, and I was like, "Oh my god, I want one of Marla's books," but then, moving brain, whatever. And then she surprised me with Jaded right before I left, and I was like, "Hell yeah." It was amazing. And then this has been like I only own like 3 like physical copies of books because I travel so much, and this is
Wow,
one of them.
that's amazing. What an honor. Thank you.
It's so like cathartic, I would say is a good word to read your writing because it literally feels so fucking relatable. Like, almost like, did you crawl into my own body and, like, experience what I experienced? Like, everything from, like, the fact that you were also a
Yeah.
missionary, so, like, you get that aspect of it, and also just, like, the innermost, like, you know oh, there's so many layers. There's so many layers to peel back.
Yeah, for sure.
So when did you, like, decide that because you were an author, like, when you were still Christian, and that's, like, how did you, like, start writing in the first place? Because I know you journal a lot.
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, so I learned to read when I was 4, and this as the story goes, I watched Sesame Street and kind of picked up on that. So my mom would read to me all the time. I'm watching Sesame Street. So I was reading early. So I read first, obviously, and then I would start to write. So I have poems from first grade. Like I still have them in my handwriting. And then I don't think I might have written some poems in high school for assignments or something, but I didn't write poetry again until I was in my 40s. Um, but I have
Wow.
always like books and words and writing have always been my thing. So I would have like a stack of books beside my bed. And I've always, I don't know if it's like ADHD or I just want to fit it all in, but I would have like 8 books going
Okay.
at a time. And I'd have my bookmarks in there. So I'd read a chapter of one, chapter of another. And a lot of that was fiction. And these days, like now that
Uh-huh.
I'm 50, I read one fiction book at a time, but I will read 10, 10 or 12 nonfiction books at once because they're about all different things.
Yeah.
And it's hard for
Yeah.
me sometimes to read a book straight through. Anyway, so I
I can relate.
have always
Yeah.
loved to write, but in 5th grade, so I went to a Christian school for preschool, kindergarten, and 1st grade. And then my teacher told my mom, "Listen, 1st grade is really boring for her because she's already like, I've been reading for a couple years already, so I didn't need to learn these letters and stuff." And so my teacher wanted me to skip ahead
Nice.
to 2nd grade. I was terrified. Long story short, I agonized over this, but I the ultimate thing that made my decision easy for me was I didn't know cursive, and they had already learned cursive in 2nd grade. I'm like, "I cannot go to 2nd grade, I
Whoa.
don't know cursive." And so I stayed in 1st grade. Well, then my mom decided to homeschool me, and she was one of the few, so this is in the early '80s, and we didn't know anybody really that was doing that. So that, that was for 3 years, and then I think I got kind of a little too much for her. She's like, "Yeah, I can't do this anymore." So I went to public school in 5th grade. Then we moved, and I went to another public school, 6th through 12th grade. But in 5th grade, my teacher, nominated me for this Power of the Pen writing workshop. So I got to go to
Oh,
that, and then, yeah, all through school, I was always writing, and my teachers always loved my writing. And so trying to figure out what to do in college, I didn't know that writing could be a thing, like like an actual career, and
yeah.
it kind of is tricky to do that. So and I went to a Christian school. Anyway, majored in nursing, realized few months in that I couldn't stand the sight of blood, and so I switched to elementary education.
My God,
And I'm, like,
amazing.
grading papers for my professors, I'm writing curriculum for another professor, so all of these signs are pointing to, "You should be writing." I lasted as a teacher for, like, 2.5 years, and I stayed home with my kids, but I got all these writing jobs, editing jobs, and that's what I've been doing,
Nice.
ever since. I got my
My God,
first book
amazing.
published in 2006, and I have it here. From blushing bride to wedded wife, practical advice from a girlfriend, what marriage is really like, and all of these little
Oh my
highlighter tabs that you can
amazing,
see.
wow.
That is because I, reread it recently because I'm writing a book
Mm,
about
mhm,
my marriage. I'm divorced now. Okay, so then I also wrote a book, Is That
right.
All He Thinks About? How to Enjoy Great Sex with Your Husband. Yeah, it's
Look at
what a
you. I love
mess.
the ballsy
No,
titles.
nightmare. Let me just give you the end of the story. The end of the story, or the truth behind this, is I was struggling in my marriage because my husband was not a great person. Like, he was very difficult. So I'm thinking if I write about this, then maybe it will help my marriage. Like, I'm helping, like, quote unquote,
Yeah,
helping other women with
right.
their marriage, but really it's my marriage
Yeah.
that needs help. So that's the story
Mm,
of my whole 22-year marriage, is that he wasn't great. I was trying really hard to be a good Christian submissive wife, and then I would go
yeah,
above and
right.
beyond and then write about it and tell other women and shame
Mm,
them into being better submissive wives. So a disservice to myself,
mm,
to them, and hopefully this new book is going to be, reparations and a reclamation and redemption for
yeah.
me. Like, he cheated on me, but I cheated myself out of
Yeah,
so many years of happiness because
right.
I mean, it wasn't
Yeah,
all my fault, but, the
mm,
indoctrination was deep. Like, this is
100%.
how a good wife is, and if you keep doing this, then your husband will become this better man that you hope. Well, it didn't ever work. I thought it was working occasionally, but, um, ultimately, he never he never became the guy that I thought that he had deep inside of him. So whether it's still hidden in there or it doesn't exist, I don't know.
Wow, yeah, I remember when I got to that part, the not the divorce part, but what everything that led up to
Yeah.
the divorce in the book, I was just like, "Oh my god, whoa." It's like so cool because all wait, I'm just gonna show for everyone to see. It's so easy to read because I definitely have
Yeah.
ADHD, and so for me to, like, finish a page is so
Yeah.
hard, but it's, like, so easy. There's some, there's this app called Libby for, like, checking out library books online, you know? Yes. So they have, like, a dyslexic, buttons, and it changes the whole I don't know if I have dyslexia, maybe.
Wow.
But it changes the whole thing, and then I can read so much easier in that mode. So it feels like your book is kind of in, like, the
Oh my
ADHD,
gosh, that's
dyslexia
amazing.
friendly mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also loved I have so many, like, pages marked, but one of the things that I loved was how you, like, see what you things that you said when you were still Christian, things that you did that I can totally relate to. Like one of the poems was about like um you I think you were talking to one of your kids about like when I think you were in Cambodia and you had Muslim neighbors and you guys were just talking about how, like, I wish we were there and, like, could love them for who they are rather than, like, trying to convert them, which was totally I relate so much growing up in
Yeah.
Indonesia, like, you're friends with an ulterior motive
Yeah.
kinda thing, and looking back, I'm like, "Oh my god," of course I had it was, like, the best
Right.
intentions, but, like, when you're looking back, it's like, oh my," like, it's not the same thing, you know?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, I the one thing I'm grateful for is that I do believe, if I'm gonna give myself some credit, is that I did really love people, and I really had people's best interests at heart, and the things that I did and said, I was trying to keep people out of hell. Like, I didn't want them to go to hell, and I thought that was on my shoulders. Um, but I've gotten into it with a lot of people, Christians, who say, well, sometimes love feels like hate. Like, you're going to tell your gay neighbor they're going to
Yeah,
hell because then that's really loving. So I, I can see how people with good hearts can be misguided. But what we're seeing right now in the US is just a whole lot of hatred. Like, I don't know if I had not started to deconstruct, like, 15 or so years ago. I wanna think that I wouldn't be like they are now. I don't know, but I just
yeah,
see a big difference where they're calling empathy toxic, and they just it's like, "That's not the kind of love. We don't do this kind of love. We don't love these kind of people." And I think for me, I did have, like, a heart to really, really love people, and I've had people even say that. I was a camp counselor, and so every night we're trying to get
mm,
these girls saved, and there was a girl in my cabin when she was 12, and she's, like, 40 now, but she told me, and there's a poem, I forget which book it's in, but she said something about how, like, she got saved in my cabin, um, but she said that her memory of me was never I wasn't pressuring, I wasn't like anyway, she had a very good experience
yeah,
with that, and I was like, "Okay, well, I guess at least I
I
wasn't
love that.
terrorizing people," but still,
Mhm.
yeah, and the Muslim neighbors, that was actually in the States, that was in Ohio. We lived
Oh,
in
gotcha,
an
okay.
apartment complex. My husband at the time had a heart attack. He almost died, he lost his job, we lost our house, we had to move into low-income apartments in
My gosh.
Ohio, and 75% of our neighbors were Somali refugees. So, these refugees from Somalia and other places were feeding us in their living rooms on the floor, like, feeding us meals when we did not have any money, and so that's been a big
Wow.
theme in my life where I write about this. I'm like, "You're gonna tell me that my elderly, racist Christian relative is on his way to heaven,
Mm,
but my Muslim neighbors who fed me when I had no money." Now, maybe they were doing the same thing I was doing. They're
yeah.
like, "We gotta convert this woman to Islam." I don't know. They never tried. Like, they didn't try to convert me. One
Yeah,
one teenage girl did. She tried to convert my girls. But,
cute.
they're just feeding me and being neighborly and being loving and being kind, and I did not have any money. Like, I would go to the grocery store and buy a bag of frozen green beans and, like, one other thing. That's how much money I had, and then the next
Mm,
day I would do the same thing. So, I just
yeah,
yeah, it's so freeing now to be able to love people all the way with no strings and no conditions, and just to go into meeting someone and go into a relationship with someone and not have that weight on me, because it was always so heavy. I'm like, "Okay, how am I gonna work in this?" Like,
right.
I gotta tell them I'm a Christian, and then I've
Yeah,
got to figure out how to help them become a Christian, then I gotta answer their questions, and I gotta get it all right, and now it's
yeah,
like, so it's this huge
yeah.
weight, and I don't believe in hell anymore, so I don't believe that they're going there if
Mhm.
I don't bring up Jesus' death on the cross within the first 20 minutes of meeting them.
You grew up
Yeah.
Christian,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so how was detaching from the fear of hell? if you ever had, like, that deep instilled fear, because a lot of people, it's like a
Yeah,
spectrum of the fear
yeah.
of it. Where were you on that spectrum?
Well, not ironically, but interestingly, maybe I don't think I had a deep fear of hell. I was very, very convinced and very sure that I had done all the things that I needed to do
Yeah.
to stay out of hell. I had a couple friends. I had a sister who had a lot more fear around that, so they were like always asking Jesus into their heart again, or always going up to the front at church to make sure one more time that they rededicated their life to God. So I don't remember being scared. I don't remember, like, I believed in the rapture. I believed that Jesus was going to come back. We might all go up to heaven and some people will be left behind. I never had that fear that I would look around and people would be gone and I would still be there. I knew I was going to be one of the ones that was gone. It might have been
Yeah.
like an arrogance, actually, overconfidence. But no, I was not afraid of that. And now, even now,
Mm.
when people ask me, about how, like, "What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong?" Yeah, sure, of course, there's that, like, possibility because none of us really we don't know, and we think we know. So that certainty that I had, I was just something I thought that I had. But I will tell people now, hey, if I die and there's some, like, gate or whatever, and I get up there and I have to and God is like, "Yeah, you loved gay people and you started cussing and you believe people could do whatever they wanted with their lives, and so you're gonna go to hell for that." Um, then I will go to hell for that because I'm not gonna
Mm.
live on this earth in fear of that and not love people on some off chance that when I get there, this mean God is gonna tell me that, Sorry, too bad, so sad, you are going to hell." I don't wanna serve that
Mm.
kind of God. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna exercise my actual free will and say no to that God, and if that's who God turns out to be, well, then great. I just got all these years on earth without repercussion, without anything happening to me, and then I'll pay for it later.
Yes.
And so why would we be serving a God like that anyway? Supposedly, God is
Mm.
love, and then we're gonna get there and God's gonna be like, "Meh, you
Yep.
love too much, so you're going to
JK.
eternal
Yeah.
damnation." That doesn't make any sense at all. And then that's why
No,
Christians are like, "Well,
none.
sometimes love feels like hate." Well,
Mhm.
that's amazing. Like, I don't think I want that kind of love in my life. Like, I'm gonna choose the kind of love
Yeah.
that feels like love. If I'm saying I love someone, I want them to feel something warm and fuzzy, like, in their belly. I don't want them to feel
Yes.
terror and shame and sadness when I
Mhm.
love them. Like, and
Yeah.
a
That is
a lot of
beautiful.
that was
Yeah.
it, like, so when I'm writing this memoir, it's gonna be about divorce and infidelity. It's turning into this thing where it's actually about me taking responsibility for all the things that I believed and lived out. But God and my ex, there were so many similarities where it's like, they're just treating me like shit, and I'm like, "Oh, that's what love feels like. This must be what love feels like, to be treated like this." Well, no, it's not, because once my ex left and now I don't believe in this God, I'm like, "Oh, so this is what it feels like to not be treated like shit. I actually prefer this, is how I feel." So that's how I'm
Yeah.
gonna live my life, is not making other people feel like shit. It's like a low bar, but that's where we need to start.
Yeah, that mentality is so interesting. Yeah, like today, I was cleaning out my dog's I put pepper in his food to mix with turmeric. This is going
Okay,
somewhere.
cool.
To, like, help with, like,
Okay.
anti-inflammation, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was cleaning out the pepper thing, and I definitely got it in my eyes.
Oh,
And I'm, like, going on a walk with him and not realizing the pepper's in my eyes, and I'm like, "Oh my god, my eyes are red. Am I going blind?" And then I'm like, "Oh my god, is God making me go blind because I'm posting on YouTube about, like,
Mm.
calling
Yep,
people out
that's
in
definitely
the
it.
the church and stuff like that?" And then I told my partner about it, and I was like, "This is an intrusive thought, but this is what I thought earlier." And he was like, yeah, we were like, "People are some fucked up shit is going on in the world, and you think God is gonna blind you for, like, bringing shit to
Yeah,
light on
yeah.
YouTube? Not that's not if God even exists, blah, 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 whatever, like, that's not how it would work
It's hard to get that out of your head
at
though,
all."
right? Like, even
I
years
know.
later after I've gotten rid of all of that, there's still things that come back in. I'm like, "What if? What if? But one
Uh-huh.
of the things that I have well, for me, that I've realized is that so much of what people attribute to God, I'm just like, okay, let's try an experiment where you don't pray to God. And does this still happen? Or you don't do this? Or, and then I have so many poems about people um, praising God for the good, but not blaming God for the bad. And that's the one I just want to shake
Mm,
people. Like, listen, praise God all you want. Praise God, praise God, praise God. But if something goes wrong, I need to see you saying, "Hey, God, why did you do that?" Like, why isn't like instead of what I did, Satan. Satan is in charge of the bad, God is in charge of the good. If good things happen, it's God. If
mhm.
like Satan does the bad. And then where do I fit into this? Oh, I'm just this empty vessel. I'm like nothing. Like I'm this puppet that God can move all around. And so now I take the credit and blame all of it myself. And I'm not now, there are things outside of my control. And that's a very privileged thing also to say, well, if bad things happen, it's on you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about
Right,
systemic
right.
oppression and all of that. I'm just saying, like, Super Bowl, God didn't make one team win and Satan didn't make you lose or whatever that is. And the
Yeah.
things that I did in my life that I would never, ever, ever take credit for, I'm like, "Oh, that's all God. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. I didn't write that amazing book for wives. That was all God." Well, now I think these books are probably written by Satan. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. If God is so big and so powerful and so whatever, then even if Satan did do those bad things, you're telling me God can't stop Satan from doing those? He's
Right.
that powerless. He's that what? It's so when you
Yeah.
start to just examine things and analyze them and question them, it's like, hold up, this does not make sense. And then you'll have people say, well, God's ways are higher than our ways. I'm like, okay, but you're following these rules of logic in so many areas. And then you just turn off the logic for these other areas. And it doesn't, it's not fair. It doesn't make sense. And you need to not do that.
Yeah, your poem, oh my god, I'm gonna butcher the exact wording, but, um, you and God or me and God were separated, but now it's looking like it's heading towards
Yeah.
divorce. Like, it's like you separated because you're like, "Oh, I need to take a step back, take off the rose-colored glasses." Then you start researching, you start, just reading into more things, reading into the history, like, reading into what I'm sure, like, a lot of Christians call, like, conspiracy theories about the Bible, which are, like,
Yeah.
mistranslations and, what insert into the blank. So, the list is huge, and then it's like, "Okay, yeah, I feel like we're gonna get divorced. Oops."
Yeah.
You
And it,
know? I mean, you wrote
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
poem, so I know you
You'll
know.
get I mean, when you do this kind of deconstructing thing and you get a lot of people saying, "Well, then you must not have ever been a Christian or you weren't really a serious Christian." And I mostly just laugh at that now because it's been proven, I think, beyond a shadow of a doubt that the people who are deconstructing are the people who had they were all in. They were all invested in this. I
Yes,
mean, that's why I do write
I agree.
poems about my Christian credentials. I mean, missionary, I don't even remember all the things I did. But
So many, yeah.
I really was the poster child for this, and I was very, very good at it, like, super good at doing all of this and putting it all together and being all these things. and it was my whole
Yeah.
identity. So everything in my life was like there was not one single piece that could be separated out like, "Oh, I do this thing over here, but here's my faith in God." No, it was so much my identity. So for me to let that go, it's laughable that I wasn't really a Christian. It's laughable that I did it so that I could sin. Um, and I
Right.
can't expect everyone to know that automatically, but anyone
Right.
who
Yeah.
knew me or anyone who saw me, um, I could not have faked that for so long. I know people do. They can fake things, but
Right.
I wasn't faking it. I don't care about sinning. I have a poem about how like someone even said you just wanted to deconstruct so you could have sex with whoever you wanted, which is also funny to me because I was a virgin when I married my husband and I've never had sex with someone I wasn't currently married to. And so
Mm.
that it's like why I've been divorced now for almost 6 years. I could have been having so much fun if that was why I deconstructed and it wasn't.
Totally.
And I'm
Yeah.
I'm all for anybody doing that. I have too many things to write and too much art to make right now to be worried about
Yes.
sex and men. Um, but yeah, it's just, yeah, it I'm sure there are some people deconstructing that maybe weren't so invested. Deconstruction isn't like a one
Mm.
size fits all. But for the most part, if you didn't have this huge thing all built up, then you wouldn't need to deconstruct it. It's kind of like I built this
Yeah.
to be so strong and so firm that it would withstand anything. So taking it apart is really hard. If I was just meh and build a little sandcastle of Christianity, then there's no deconstruction. It's just
Yeah.
like, let's just wipe that away and start
Right.
over. You can't. And like you said, sometimes things will get into your head like, oh, is this God? Is this going to happen? Should I? And even now, I will pray. I don't pray much, but if I really need
Mm.
something or if I'm really scared about something,
Yep.
I'll either say
Yeah.
something to the universe or I'll say Mama God or I'll say some kind of thing. But I'm realizing now that a lot of my talking to God over those years and journaling to God for 62 journals, um, I can do the same thing to myself. Like I can talk to myself,
Right.
which I believe is essentially what I was doing that whole entire time. Um, and
Yeah.
I do. The only thing I
Totally.
miss about Christianity really is the certainty I had about things, which I didn't really have. Um, but I do miss the certainty of an afterlife. I miss the certainty that if someone I love dies, I'm going to see them as soon as I die, or the other way around. And now I don't know, but I've told people before, I'm just going to choose to believe that. Like I can just say, "Oh, I'm sure we'll see each other again." Because
Sure.
otherwise, like that's that's almost too much for my soul to take if I can't ever see someone
Yes.
ever, ever, ever again. Church was never fun for me. I didn't like getting up early. I hate dressing up. I don't really like to sing. I don't like to be bored. So sitting there listening to someone preach a sermon that I don't care about, so boring. I used to
Right.
volunteer in the nursery, hated that. Hate the meet and greet and
I
the
bet.
oh, so no.
Give a hug to the person
No.
next to
So I
you.
am not, I
Yeah.
have not been in a church in many years. I don't want that or need that. I'm not saying I'll
Yeah.
never ever go back. And I have a lot of friends who go to church. I have friends who are pastors of churches. Um, and that's great. I have friends who are in beautiful marriages. I don't want that. Like I even if it was possible, I love to be in my own space by my own self, do my own thing. And maybe it'll get
Yeah.
boring and maybe I'll get tired of it, but I haven't gotten tired of myself yet.
Yeah.
So
Totally. Yeah. It's so interesting. Like with the whole afterlife thing, that's a huge, yeah. One time I was driving home from working a gig and a police car almost hit me
Oh,
head
yeah.
on because it was like a small bridge and they were in my lane for some reason. And I was on the phone with my mom because she's still in Indonesia and I think I was in Tennessee at the time. And I was like, "Whoa, that was crazy, blah, blah, blah." And then she was like, "Did that make you, like, think about what's gonna happen when you die?" And I was like, "Oh god."
Yeah.
Not really. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's like, when you're Christian, that certainty is comforting, but when you have deconstructed or are I mean, I think I'll be deconstructing. It's kind of a
Yeah.
verb, I suppose. Like, for me, when I think of the afterlife, I don't really think of it that often just because I have other shit to do, but when I do think of it, like, mm, there's a book called Signs by Laura Lynn
Oh, I've heard
Jackson
of
that
that.
really ah, have
I
you read
have
it or
not read it.
just
Yeah.
kinda seen. Yeah, that book really helped me feel a little more comfort and not that it like, "Oh, that is
Yeah.
fact," kinda thing, like, I'm not a Christian, I don't define myself as
Yeah.
anything so that I do have the
Yep.
freedom to pick and choose whatever I feel
Yeah.
comfortable with, and it's, like, a very, like, open palm, something I believe, if I resonate with it, hell yeah. If something else comes along that's better, more loving, more inclusive, whatever, then I
Oh,
just replace
yep.
it, and if it doesn't work for another person, that's totally
Yep.
fine. It works for
Yep.
me, and that's the most important part, really, because everything is so personal and so,
Yeah.
relative.
I
So, that's a good book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when people say, like, that whole picking and choosing, "Oh, you're picking and choosing the parts that you like," and that's another thing that there's a whole that whole Bible. Tell me you aren't picking and choosing the parts that you like. Like,
Literally.
I in my mind, I'm always thinking, like, everything is this writing idea for me. Like, I have content. People are like, "How do you come up with content?" I'm like, "It that every minute I have more content." My problem is I can't, like, I don't have the energy to produce all of this content and put it out into the world. I try to keep
Yeah.
writing books, I try to do Instagram posts, whatever, but there's so much going on. But I was reading a book this morning and books are how I get ideas for my books,
Love.
not necessarily to steal them, although I do quote people a lot, but something that someone
Yeah.
says just reminds me of something that I have lived.
Yes.
Where I don't know how the brain works, how it stores things. I just know that when I
Mm.
read something, a memory comes back to me of my own that I have no idea where it came from. I know it's real. I remember it. I can see the whole thing. But I jotted down on this piece of paper, like a content idea was that all of the verses that I loved so much for a while were these self-deprecating, not even self-deprecating, but like putting yourself down, making yourself less, making yourself
Mm.
nothing. So it's like humble yourself before the Lord. Less of me, more of you. Use me, fill me, like whatever. Like I am nothing. You are all these things. I was like, oh my God, that's so. I was just nobody even, like, needed to push me down. The pastor, the husband, the whoever, I was like, "Oh, let me do it. Let me look through the Bible and pick out all the verses that say I'm nothing, and then I'm gonna announce those verses as, like, my life verse, my theme verse." Oh, so gross. And so you could pick
Mhm.
I could go through and pick other verses that say that I'm like this amazing creation and that God made me this and God loves me no matter what. Um, and so we all do that. We all go through and pick the ones that fit the theme that we have chosen. And then that's what we
Yeah.
go with. So just like the 2000
Yep.
verses in the Bible about loving and caring for the poor, and you've got Christian nationalists who are blatantly ignoring and defying every single one of these verses because they've picked and chosen
Right.
other ones. The like the
Yeah.
Apostle Paul, I won't go into this whole thing, but someone in my family disowned me. They wrote a 12-page paper, like
Oh,
refuting all my
shit.
stuff. And it was almost 95%
Whoa.
Paul, like the scriptures that they picked to refute me. And another person in my family who
Oh.
was actually had gone to seminary and was a pastor said to me, if I had the time, I could refute all of these things that they said using like just the prophets or using just Jesus. Or I could refute everything they said using Paul, also using Paul. Like I could do Paul here, and because Paul's always contradicting himself and
Yeah.
saying weird things.
Ugh.
And it's like, listen,
Huh?
if you're whatever your agenda is, the Bible has got your back. Like the Bible can just help you do
True.
any kind of thing
Mm.
that you want to do. If you don't like gay people, we've got these 6 verses right here that we can clobber them with. Jesus didn't say anything about being gay, but it's still really, really, really important that you not be. So,
Right.
and so as I like you're saying, like the
Yeah.
deconstruction and studying and researching and all that, that I took my deconstruction as seriously as I took my construction. Um,
Yeah.
and I was so scared to do it for a while. I was terrified because I was afraid of what I would find. And then it was Rachel Held
Right.
Evans who wrote books about she was just like me, but she was less afraid. So she did question these things. She did. So when I decided, listen, if she's wrong, um, then great. And that's going to be awesome for me. And be like, see, she says all this stuff dead wrong. If she's
Yeah.
right, then I am in big trouble because I'm holding on to things I think are right without examining them
Mhm.
to see if they really are. And then it did. Everything just crumbled and fell apart and slippery slope and now I just
Yeah.
it does. I try to encourage people. You are terrified, you are sad, it is hard, you are grieving things, you yeah, so much. But then you will hopefully, like I did, get to a point where it just becomes, well, I gotta do more of this. This is so freeing. Oh, this is so fun. Oh, I love this so much. It
Yes.
takes a long time, though. It's easy for me to say. I mean, even now, like with divorce, I'm like, ooh, you should get divorced. And I don't know. My husband left, and then I found out that he'd been cheating for 4 of the 5 years we lived in Cambodia. So,
You found out
oh
after?
yeah.
Oh my
So
god. No.
I, um, don't know if slash when I would have left my shitty marriage because I was just trying to make it work, trying to make it work, trying to make it work. I have since
Right.
started all these journals sitting on my shelf and I cannot bring myself to open them. I know that I need to go through them. I kind of want to look at them to see when did he stop loving me? When did he decide to cheat? Whatever. Um, and
Mhm.
so long story short, again, I also found 162 letters we wrote to each other while we were dating. We met at a church camp. And I realized, and also reading a book called The Covert Passive Aggressive Narcissist, I realized, oh, this started before we even started dating. Like this person that he was, there's this thing with narcissists, love bombing and then degrading and then
Mhm.
um what's the word for I can't think of the D word for leaving. Discard. They discard you. So I see the love bombing in the letters, but then it starts to get weird and some things that he says, and then I change. It's a whole thing. But I was like,
Mhm.
oh, oh.
Yeah.
So I was in a marriage to a man the man that I thought was there, he never actually existed. Like that man never existed. Very similar to the God that I believed in, who I now I'm like, "Oh, that God doesn't exist." There might be a God, but that one, that particular version of God is not real. And all the terrible things that happened in my life. Like, even now, I think, "Okay, am I afraid to go through this? Well, like, what if something happens?" And I'm thinking, "I could have if I would have stayed close to God and prayed about this, maybe I could have prevented this." The shit that God put me through for all the years that I was so dedicated to him, and then I blamed Satan or myself or whatever, like, I have been through
Yeah.
so much. There's not a whole lot left that he could do to me, to punish me. He did that while
Yeah.
we were together. So what's he gonna do
Literally.
now? It's wild to think about. But as I'm reading, it's a little bit traumatic going back and reading this. I have to take deep breaths and remind myself that I am here
Oh.
now. And
Yeah.
I've thought about stopping, but I want to get it done. Like, I want to get through this, and then I want to be in the present. And yeah, I'm having all
Good.
kinds of dreams that are just, yeah. And I write
Oh,
I haven't written these recent ones down,
I love
but
dreams.
I used to write my dreams
Okay.
down. So I'm reading through these journals and I had this big dream and I'm like, I wonder what that meant. What was that for? So that's another content
Right.
idea.
Yes.
Something that takes me off the path of trying to get my new book written. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a I'm more me. I write about that too in my poems. I'm more me now on the other side of being married to my ex and evangelical Christianity. Like, that's what I was doing. I wasn't pushing down my sin nature, or I wasn't pushing down evil thoughts or pushing down like all these things I thought. I was pushing me down. Like, who I wasn't
Mm,
letting her come out. Um because she didn't
yeah.
fit. She didn't fit in the structure and in the
Yeah.
system. I mean, there are certain times that I fit, that I made myself fit. Marriage
Right.
it was being married to who I was married to was not a good fit because I wanted him to be the spiritual leader like
Yeah.
I thought the man was supposed to be. But he wasn't spiritual and he wasn't a leader. And I was made for this
Yeah.
and he wasn't. So I'm like trying to push myself down while trying to push him up. And he
Right.
just wasn't having it. So yeah, it's good to be out,
Interesting.
out of that, out of the
Yeah.
box, into the free, and
Yeah.
be who I am.
It's I totally relate to the not opening because I journal all the time as well. And previous to now, it feels like a whole past life. But in the middle of deconstructing, I was in a band and songwriting was like my main
Yeah.
thing. So when you said you pull inspiration from
Uh,
books, I totally get
Yeah.
that. Like I love like anything like fantasy and like Game of
Mhm.
Thrones or, anything like that. I like the the lore of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
really fuels my writings. But anyway, peak I wouldn't even say peak deconstruction, but peak well, yeah, I guess it was all deconstructed. But I went through a lot of like paranoia that I was being like tricked by the devil
Mm.
and possessed and stuff like that. And my journals really reflect the fear that I was feeling. And I it's hard to open it because it's just so raw
Yeah.
and real and like well, even though you're on, like, I guess, the other side of it, it's still, like, your baby self going through all of
Yeah.
that stuff, and it's, like, it hurts you to
Oh, yeah.
see you
I
feel that
know.
way.
Poor sweet girl. That has been
Literally.
hard, and
Yeah.
I think maybe okay, some people have told me I'm burning my journals, I'm throwing all that out, and I always tell people, "Do whatever feels right to you." I would never tell someone that they have to go back and revisit that exact trauma that's inside their journals. As an overall kind of thing, at least for me, and would I be doing this if I wasn't a writer? Well, if I wasn't a writer, I guess I wouldn't have written all of that. But
It's true.
if I wasn't writing about this, would I go back? And I wanna say, yes, I would, because this is not just for a book. this is very much a healing process. This is bringing all the things up. And they're even, just like some of the things I wrote in there, I'm like, "Oh, this is I wouldn't even say this out loud, like, to a person, like, really sad that this is in here, that I said this, or I thought this, or I did this." Um, and I was just with a couple friends, really, really good friends this past weekend, and we don't see each other super often. We're sitting on these rocking chairs on a porch at someone's house, the, like, little twinkle lights and the stars were out. It's like 11 o'clock at night, and I said some of these things out loud, like, to them. I'm like, "I've never said these things out loud." It just felt really good. So for me, I went into this project to look for all the terrible things my ex-husband did so that I could write about him. And I'm finding things about me, and it's not this correlation like, "Oh, he was bad and I was bad, so nobody's at fault in this marriage." No, that's not what I'm talking about. He was bad. Like, he was trash, he did shitty things, he treated me like trash, he cheated on me, blah, blah, blah. That is his whole big thing. Mine is it's a different
Mm,
thing, but it's still in there, and it's not really about, like, "Oh, did I do sinful things that went against God or the Bible?" It's not that either. It's, like, ways that I harmed myself, ways that I harmed other people, ways that I, harmed other women by telling them that they need to submit to their husbands, blah, blah, blah. So, working through
mm,
that, is so hard, but it kind of feels like I don't really have a good analogy, but, like, I hate cleaning, like, I hate scrubbing things and getting dirt off of things, like, I like
yeah.
laundry where you put the dirty clothes in a machine and then they come out and you just fold them.
Mhm.
You don't have to clean
Yeah.
them, I don't like and so I feel like I don't know if it's me or what, but it's like I'm cleaning out, like, all of this stuff, and it doesn't feel good, and it's gross, and but I can tell, like, I can feel that it's getting I don't know, it's like getting all this it's getting
Yeah.
out all of the things that were hidden in all the places, and so
Mhm.
I'm I'm really I really feel good about that. Again, I can't prescribe it to everyone, and not
Good.
everyone has these journals, and I sometimes feel a little bit envious of the
Mm.
people who don't feel compelled to write down every single thing that's in their head. I don't know where it goes. Like, if you have stuff in your head and you don't write it, what where does it go? I
Ah.
don't know.
The band broke up when COVID hit because of, all tours got canceled and et cetera. But another part that was hard leading up to that was all my songs I would also pull from my journal entries, and my parents I was volunteering at this, like, Christian water ski camp for a week or 2, and when I got back home to wherever my parents were staying, yeah, so my journal was in a different place than when I left it, and I was like, "Mm, something is off here." And then my parents were having, like, these interrogations with me where they'd be like, "You're an adulteress because you're dating someone who's been married before, like, you are tempting him into evil, he should be with the person he got married to, blah, blah." Anyway, I mean, not blah, 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 that was
Yeah,
very
yeah,
intense
yeah,
at the
yeah,
time,
yeah.
yeah, um, and then they started asking me specifics, like, really weird, like, date specific things. "Who were you here with this person smoking weed at this time?" 'Cause I wrote everything down. And I was like, "How the fuck do you know? How?" And then I was like, "Oh my god, they read my journal." Anyway, and then I called them out on it, and it was my dad was apologetic, but my mom was just like, "We were at wit's end. We are at wit's end. Like, we don't know what to do." And it's just like and then I wasn't able to write songs without being in a co-writing session because I didn't feel safe to write
Yeah.
anymore. So, they now it's different, but, oh, that was when you went journal, it really felt like journaling was just, like, ripped from me. which is so destabilizing as well.
I am so sorry, and also,
Yeah.
I just was on Threads this morning, and someone posted that it was about their mom looking at their journal, and then they did something to they like, they wrote something to her for her to find or whatever, I don't know, but there was a lot of trauma in this, like, everyone was commenting, and they were saying that that happened to them and how traumatizing it was, and they couldn't journal anymore, they couldn't write anymore, um, and that like, I remember being afraid that my husband would read my journal, and I even as I'm reading back
Mm.
through there, I would put in there, "If you're reading this" like
Cut
and then
up.
I thought, "What if he, like, took photos of it or something? He wants to use some kind of
What?
evidence
Mhm.
against me," or and now I'm realizing, I'm like, "Fine, whatever you like, yeah, you wanna
Whatever,
see all the
yeah.
evidence. There's a bunch of evidence in here about things you did, but yeah, that's I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
That is so I guess I don't know if people have read my journals. I don't have any of my journals. I called them diaries back then. I don't have any from my childhood,
same.
which makes me sad.
Mm. Oh,
I did
no.
have
Did it what
I don't know, I
happened?
must have thrown them away. There are different things that I threw away. I, like, threw away things from old boyfriends. I threw away all the letters. Like, my I graduated from high school in 1994, and I dated this guy for, like, 3 years, and we wrote letters to each other constantly, then we bring them to each other at school. I wish I had those because I wanna know, like, I feel like there's so much in high school I don't remember
Mhm.
it, and I know that it happened, and as I'm reading the journals now from my adulthood, there'll be something
Yeah,
10 years ago that I'll read what I wrote about it, it instantly takes me back, and I have this memory that's, like, complete, like a picture that I didn't even
yes,
remember happened, and so I feel like if I would have not thrown away those letters, I could have had all of these memories. I mean, it is what it is, I don't have them,
yeah.
so but yeah, that
I
that
totally
really
get that.
sucks. So can you write when
Oh,
was this?
man.
Can you write now? Like, are you able to write?
Between 2017 and
Okay,
2020, good chunk. I was living in LA at
okay,
the time, going to Biola
okay,
University. Now, I've written a few things, a lot based on
okay.
deconstruction, which is just it's so not so easy to write about, but it's like I like to write about painful things. Like, I am not a happy songwriter.
Yeah,
Whatever is eating me
yeah,
alive, that's what I'm
yeah,
gonna
love
write
it.
about. And I was always told, like, "Oh, your songs are so dark, like, why don't you write about the gospel and Jesus?" And I'm just like, "That's okay."
There are some other people who could do that.
Yeah, I even tried a few times, and it was just like, uh but I did lead worship at churches, for a few
Okay.
years, like 2015 to 2019, maybe? But then my dad was like, "Oh," well, because my partner and I are not married. We've been together for almost 10 years
Wow.
now, and my dad was like, "If you're sleeping with your boyfriend, how can you be leading worship
Yeah,
in front of
yeah.
church?" And I was like, "True, I
Yeah.
guess. I guess I should stop." Because, you're not really questioning like, why can't I be leading worship? Because when I'm having, you know and it's not like in your relationship you're just having sex 100% of the
No?
time. Like, it's like, yeah, a portion of your relationship, but like,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I wanted to read a poem that I wanted to kind of like trickle out with Forever in Progress. Page 211. You know when you're like flipping, hey everyone, flip to
You
your
know, I'm gonna flip. I
hymnals,
have it. Hold on.
page 5, 6.
I'm gonna flip here.
Let's all sing
No.
this together. I know I need like sticky tabs because I definitely like with your book, it's like so much like circling and underlining and arrows and like, damn, this rings so true
Yay!
for
I
me.
love it.
Like, yeah, I need some sticky tabs. Um, but forever in progress. I'm constantly reviewing, revising, reworking, revamping my words, my ideas, my beliefs, my life. Isn't that kind of the point? Ugh,
Okay,
I love that.
you're not gonna believe
It's
this.
so
You might
good.
believe it. I don't know. I
What?
have this okay, beside me. So I have this set up. I always speaking of revamping, like I have this bookshelf behind me and it's like a lot it's all most of these books are
Amazing.
black authors, indigenous authors, other authors of color, not all. But I like this is my
Amazing.
dream to have
Yeah.
this. So this is post divorce. Like I didn't we moved back from Cambodia in
Nice.
2020, then he left later that year and like this is all just me. Anyway, my
Nice.
desk, the way I this is a dining room table that someone gave us. It's not a desk, but I'm facing here.
Hell
The
yeah.
window is over there, and then I sit
Nice.
here with my bulletin board, and there's nothing on the bottom because my cats use that as a scratch pad. So
Hilarious.
when I'm doing a podcast interview, I will generally come here so the bookshelf is in the background instead of like my insurance cards and other things that I can like keep on my bulletin board. But my whole table is like here's my desk over here, and then here's my paper cutter for my poem art, and here's the so I have to move things, shift them over to set my laptop up here so that I can have this here, and I move my chair over, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I brought my books with me in case we
Amazing.
reference those, bring my other books. And then I have a basket of poem art because I was like, if poem art comes up, I want to show what we. All right, you want to know what poem art is in the
I
front of
wanna
my
know.
basket? It
Show me.
is Frog and Toad. Frog has his finger like up to his mouth. Toad has a paper here, and it's forever in progress. Like it is that poem
No
right here,
way.
right there. Like I didn't know you were going to read that poem because
No
I
way,
posted just
dude.
20 random pieces of poem art last night, and this was one of them. And there you go.
No
Yeah.
way.
So
That is
what has
crazy.
been so fun for me with that art? So what I did was I had a messed up copy of Unbelieve. The cover was messed up. This happens to me a lot.
Mm,
So I can't sell the book. So I cut up some of the poems and glued them on illustrations of an old Frog and Toad book in 2023.
genius.
And I put it online and people went wild over it. And I was like, oh, wait a second. Like, so I'm trying to get the word out about my books and my poems. All I need to do is like put them on Frog and Toad. And so then I started buying other books at the thrift store, getting discarded books from the library and
Mhm.
doing it. And I do. So I've made thousands of pieces. I do it every night. Put on a show, take my poems, cut them up, glue them
Yes.
on. I find things that match, that look cute together, and then I just give it away. And it
Mm.
has been so I can't really describe. I used to cut and glue things all the time when I was a kid, so I'm getting back to that. It
Mhm.
uses my brain like to find the way that it looks good or the illustration that it
Yeah.
matches, but it's not the part of my brain that needs to like come up with words because they're already
Mm.
there.
Right.
And then getting to
Mhm.
spend time with my poems, like I think of a songwriter and a poet as a very similar, but the songwriter is spending a lot of time with her poems because you're singing them over and over. So you know them, you probably have them memorized. Um, whereas someone
Mhm.
says something to me about a poem, I'm like, oh, I don't know what book that's in. I don't know how it ends. I don't know. But now that I've been doing this, I'm like, oh, I know my words a lot. I know like I'm seeing them in a different
Right.
way, like it's impacting people. I see the ones that people share. I went to an event called World of Books this weekend, and people who had
Mm.
gotten poem art from me the last 3 years at the Pride event that I did there, they came back and they told me, I have a collection of your poem art. I want to get in. I'm like, oh my God, like this is what I live for. I live for, I'm going to be at this table with my free poem art. You have
Yes.
religious trauma. You are queer with religious trauma. You come up, you find this poem, you laugh or you cry, you take it home, you put it on your wall. I'm like, that, I mean, that right there
Yes.
is so much better than, like, trying to convert your Muslim neighbor. That's so much
Literally.
better than, like, loving on people so that you can get them to your church, right? This is just
Right.
I wrote
Yes.
this, and
Genuine.
I
Yeah.
love it, and I think you'll love it, and so I just get to talk to people, and they share with me, and people come
Yes.
into my DMs, and, like, I had someone has been sharing her poetry with me. She's like, "With all your followers, you probably get, like, people writing deconstruction poetry in your DMs all the time. You probably will never see this." Like, well, first of all, I don't get as many as you might think. I don't get an overwhelming amount, and I will see it, and I will respond,
Mm.
and my poems making you write a poem is, like, peak that's what I want. And the poems,
Amazing.
like you said, that they're
Yeah.
easy to understand. I am not
Mm.
a trained or educated poet. I did not learn how to write poetry.
Mm.
It's literally just putting some words together or taking a sentence that I wrote and turning it into something that looks like
Mhm.
a poem. So it's very simple and easy. But
Amazing.
that means that when people read it, they can then not reproduce it, but do kind of the same thing without any,
Mm.
like, they don't need any special skills or anything. Now, obviously,
Right.
I do want
Yeah.
my poems I want them to be clever. I want them to feel like, wow. They aren't all like that though. Some of them they have a punch and some of them are just kind of, but
Mm.
it's just, yeah, it's super life-giving, super whatever. And it's
Yeah.
really means something to me. And when I get to see what it means to other people like you, like when you say
Yes.
that, that warm feeling in my chest is like, my words connected
Mm.
with someone. And that's why journals are great for getting your thoughts out there. But until you put it into a song or you put it into a poem or you share it in some way with someone else, you're missing a piece of
Mm.
what it could be. Because that poem that
Right.
you just read, I can kind of imagine what it means to you, but I don't know exactly what it means, like what parts of you it hit,
Mm.
because you know that,
Right.
and it could
Yeah.
be different for everybody.
I love how you be finally being authentically you gives people permission to be authentically them and be inspired by your writing and just you being the light that you are. Like, oh, sorry, that sounded kind of Christiany. You being the light that you are. Sorry if that was
No,
triggering for
I'm good. Oh,
anybody.
well, yeah, other people, I'm fine.
Sorry. I'm just putting a
Yeah,
trigger warning at the
yeah.
beginning of all my videos. But yeah, I'm so happy that you are where you are now because I know from personal experience, like I literally was just texting my best friend. I was like, "Marla's gonna be on my podcast," and she was like, "No
That's awesome.
way!" Because like that, yeah, it's like something because she was a missionary
Yeah.
kid as well. So like we like get it. So like, thank you, thank you for being you and for
You
publishing
are
these.
so welcome, and I just wanna tell everybody to do that. Like, that is the thing. In this world, in this age of, like, all this content, especially now with AI, that is not real and is just a stolen things from other people. And that's stealing AI stealing from people is not the same as you and I reading a poem or reading a book and then getting inspired. Like inspiration,
Mhm.
yes. Stealing, no. Like those are different. But in this world, we crave, like we want to see people being authentically themselves. Like that's what we want to see. And what I'm always telling people, I used to want everyone to be like me. Like, this is me. This is this Christian thing. You could be like this too. You need to be like this. We all need to be like this. That's not it anymore. What's it is I'm going to be all the way me to inspire you to be all the
Mm.
way you. Like nobody wants me out there singing, Avery. Like they don't want me to lead worship or be in a band of any kind. So I'm going to be me and you're going to be you. And there's a really zero need for you to try to be anybody else. If there's something you see of me that you really like and it's already kind of a part of you and you want to bring that out a little more, sure, but not don't be me. I'll be me, you be you. If all of us can be who we are, and that's what Christianity does not allow, especially if you're Muslim or you're gay, or you're trans, like you can't be who you are. You've got to be who they want you to
Mm,
be. So for me, love
yeah.
is wanting everyone to be who they are, like all the way who
Yes.
they are. And do we each have things that we need to work on or not have a part? Sure. I don't mean that. I don't
Yeah.
mean like the mean parts of me. I need to let those all, those like whatever. But, but yeah, can you imagine
Yeah.
like if we were all
Mm,
free to be ourselves? And for all Christians talk of freedom, like freedom of religion, but it's not freedom.
yeah.
They don't
Yeah,
want freedom for
literally.
all of us because that's threatening to them. It's super threatening if people are free, if women are free, if black people are free, if queer people are free, that threatens what they've got going
So
on. And
threatening.
so if you think that your
Yeah.
art is like pointless, like it's silly, I struggle with this. I'll be making this art and I'm like, what are you doing, Marla? You should be doing something productive or something that matters
Oh,
more or whatever. And then I just remind myself, this is me being me,
yep.
having fun, sharing,
Mhm.
resonating. I'm free. Like I'm free and I'm going to do this. And that's going to inspire other people to also be free. Yeah.
Okay, guys, the links to Marla's books and socials are in the description. Go give her a follow right now and check out her writings. They are amazing. You already got a peek. There's so many more where those came from. Your mind's gonna be blown and your life's gonna be changed. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to a loved one who popped into your head while you were watching this. Hopefully, they gain something beautiful from this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Thanks,
Thank you,
Marla.
Avery.